and started Wisdom Soup years ago, to actually find people to new friends to talk about spiritual things when she went through her awakening. And so this is a wonderful place to meet up with new people and talk about these things and to learn. And that's why we're here. I'm so excited because we have Amy Pearson here today. Amy and I studied together, we've worked together, and Amy is the top. She's here to talk about dream interpretation and how to use feminine energy to interpret your dreams. And we've been living in a world where the feminine energy has been largely untapped. So this is a kind of a secret code, right? To hearing from your guides and shortcuts in knowing what steps to take next. So Amy is a certified dream interpreter. She's a life coach. Amy, what else would you say about your background to add
Well,
to that?
I'm a certified Ashling School Dream Analyst and Channel, as you said. I've been master certified as a life coach with Martha Beck, who is someone who's written quite a few really great self-help titles. If you're not familiar with her, she has a life coach program called Wayfinder Life Coach Training. And I've been an instructor for that program also for probably about 13 years. And I also am a writer, so my writing has been featured on Huffington Post, Maria Shriver's blog, gosh, where else? Mind Body Green. And I'm working on my first memoir called Forgiving Amy. So I live in Ashland, Oregon, and I have 3 teenagers now. And
Let's
so
all say a blessing for Amy right now. The three
I need it.
teenagers.
I do need that. I do need that. They're my teachers for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would love to give you, let's see here. There, you are center stage. We would love to hear from you. Anybody who has questions as Amy goes along, please put them in the chat. And I love that you're saying hello, everybody, and you're sharing where you're from. That's so fun. Amy, you're welcome to take it away, and I will share
Okay.
questions after in an appropriate break for you.
Yeah.
Let's
Great.
go.
I'm setting the intention that we have plenty of time to get through this material, because one of the things I want to do, I know that not everybody works with their dreams necessarily, but one of the things I do want to do is offer a demonstration, and I'm hoping to keep that relatively short to give you a sense of how I work with dreams, because the way that I work with dreams is a little bit different than probably what many of you have experienced if you're familiar with Michael Sheridan's work or others who do dream work. My approach to dream analysis is very interactive, and I have a wonderful friend here today to help me to demo this process so you get a sense of how I facilitate it, but also how you could do it for yourself. And so by the end of our time today, I'm really hoping that you'll feel inspired to maybe take this approach and make it yours so that you can start to access the wisdom in your dreams on your own.
Hey, just so you
And
know,
so I
please.
have a presentation here that I think maybe I will try to run through maybe some of these slides, and then we'll get going on the presentation, and then, or excuse me, the demo. And then I'm hoping we'll have some time for Q&A. But I do have materials too, so keep an eye out for some links in the presentation. And then maybe Kira, you could put those in the chat if you find them, or if it works. Otherwise, there's also a way for us to for me to follow up and provide resources as well. So let me just get my. I think I'm not very. I
So
guess.
at the bottom of your screen, if you hit share, you do have powers to share.
Okay. I just want to also just get my presentation first in that. Well, let me just do the share first.
Yeah, you can pull up your presentation and
Okay.
then
I got
then
that.
you'll be able
Okay.
to see it.
But I
Okay,
know
please
it's not in
go.
the right outline here. Let's see. I think it needs to be in presenter view, I think, or slideshow.
If you
Slide.
keep it in this view, you'll be able to, oh, there you go. That's
Can
perfect.
everybody see that? Okay. The title of this presentation is a little bit different from what we've offered in the materials, but it's the same idea. I call my process Dream Alchemy, by the way. And you already kind of got a sense of who I am and what I'm all about. But I want to say that this class, this presentation's for you. If you're someone who's interested in spirituality and elevating your consciousness, but maybe you're still dealing with triggers, right? Maybe you are out and about in the world and you notice yourself dealing with triggers and behavioral patterns that maybe despite the modalities that you've used, you haven't quite been able to shift. You're interested in learning more about your own spiritual gifts, your life purpose. You love all things spirituality and you have a sense that there's more to than meets the 3D eye. Let me see. Let's go. Okay, so after today, I'm hoping that you'll have a better sense of what these symbols are all about, um, ways that dreams can help you heal, how to do your own dream alchemy session. If we have time, I'll see if I can get into some ways to help increase dream recall and maybe a little bit more about what I do, but we'll see. The thing that I do want to make sure that you understand, though, is that I'm going to try and give you as much as I can in this very limited time we have together, but I'll make sure that you have some resources if you're wanting to take it further. This is a really great quote that I think really, I think underscores what this particular approach to dream analysis is all about. This is Mark Ian Barash, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, who says a healing dream can never be fully interpreted or fully understood. Healing dreams want us to stop making sense, not just crack the case, but enter the mystery. And I really love that because I really believe that dreams are really an invitation. And, you know, there's that spiritual principle that goes as above, so below. And when I think about dreams, that is very meaningful to me because I really believe that dreams and the way that dreams are inviting us to participate with them is very similar to our lives. And if you think about life, right, and you go through life day to day and you experience the ups and downs, the way that I kind of see it is that, and of course, if this doesn't resonate, throw it in the garbage. But the way that I kind of see it is that we have this opportunity when we contract here to be in this life to encounter experiences and grow from those and learn from those and get bigger, faster, stronger. And sometimes we do a great job of that, right? And we nail it and we learn and we get bigger, faster, stronger. Other times, not so much, right? Other times we don't quite get the lesson and then it keeps repeating itself and repeating itself. This is very similar to what you will encounter in the dream world, as above, so below. Dreams, in my mind, are really these invitations to experience sort of like a screenplay, like if you're watching a movie. Sometimes it's a romantic comedy, sometimes it's a horror, right? Sometimes it's an adventure or a mystery. Well, I believe that dreams are messages or screenplays written by our very own higher selves as opportunities for us to learn in the dream world, just like in waking life. And sometimes we nail it, right? And sometimes we get the lesson. Other times, not so much. And then the dream screenplay repeats itself, maybe different iterations, right, of a different sort of way for us to participate in the dream, but still opportunities for us to learn and grow from those experiences, just like in waking life. And that is why I believe we dream. And of course, dreams are a multifaceted experience with layers. But I think this is a huge reason why we're dreaming in the first place. And what I have really learned is that there is a way for us to actually experience these dreams in a much more active way. One of my frustrations with sort of the many of the approaches with dream analysis is that it's someone outside of us looking at our dreams and telling us what the dreams mean. And that can be very helpful. In fact, I work with gifted dream analysts all the time and have them help me understand my dreams. So it's a beautiful approach. Though one of the things that I think is amazing is that there is a way for us ourselves to actually experience the wisdom of our dreams. And we don't necessarily have to understand everything. We just need to participate in the experience of the dream. And then we can intuitively know how to work with the dream in the way to access the healing opportunity that's presented. And so that's what I am here to show you. And that's what I am here to talk to you about. And so let's see. How is this approach different? So in this approach to dream analysis, what we're doing is we are channeling those symbols ourselves. We're not looking for someone outside of ourselves who's a channel to tell us what the symbols mean. We are accessing those symbols ourselves through our own internal process. So you are going to talk to parts of yourself. And if any of you are familiar with internal family systems, this will really resonate with you likely because I really see these dream symbols as these various parts of ourselves, as we are everything in a dream. So you're going to get to re-experience the dream through sort of your conscious self, and then you're going to tap into your own wisdom. And as a result of this process, you'll intuitively know how to work with your dream in the way that was meant to help facilitate healing. And so as a result of this process, what naturally follows is that you tend to just grow a sense of trust in your own knowing, in your own power, in the beauty of what your higher self has to offer you. And so I like to call these adventure sessions. I do different types of dream work with my clients. I do these that are sort of adventure sessions where I facilitate this process for you to channel the symbols on your own. And it's an adventure. So I like to call them adventure sessions. If you're interested in getting the handouts from today, I did include a link here. And so maybe, Kira, I don't know if you could see if you could copy that into the chat, but we can also include it later. But this is where you can kind of go and download that information. Now, the other way that I work with dreams is that it's a little bit more of that the traditional approach where I will take you through a series of your dreams. And in that process, I will look for indications of whether you've got some imbalances with regard to your masculine and feminine. And then we help to facilitate a healing process. And that is a longer series of sessions. And that I call the Dream Alchemy balancing session. So if you do go and access these materials, you'll see that I have more information about the balancing work that I do. And we can also talk about that if we have time during the Q&A. But for now, what I want to do is I want to actually do a demonstration of this. Before I do, I'm just wondering if it makes sense maybe to answer a few questions. I just feel like maybe there are people who have questions, but if not, we can just move forward.
So I'm looking in the chat. Kira has shared the link, so that's there for everyone.
Thank you,
You can
Kira.
grab that link. And does anybody have any questions yet? If you have questions, please go ahead and just put them in the chat. And if
Maybe if you do have them, just put them in the chat, and then that way we'll be ready for it if we do get that.
you know what, this is a good one. Rodney asked, what's the difference between a vision and a dream?
So honestly, first of all, people who work with dreams are going to have different takes on this. This is a ancient tradition, and this goes back, you know, so long that I don't want to sit here and say that I have the knowledge, but the way that I kind of think of it is that visions are just as powerful and important as a dream, that tend to happen in waking life. And, again, that spiritual principle, as above, so below. If you are having a vision that is happening in your waking life, I would see that as also a significant message for you to pay attention to. And Personally, I work with a vision in the same way that I would work with a dream, in that I would channel the symbols. And so this is true also, not just kind of visions aside. Say you're in your life and you're walking around and something gets your attention, maybe something happens that is like not something you would typically see. The other day, I was wearing one of my malas and it had a crystal at the end, and the crystal broke in half. Now that's not something that happens very often. And so for me, I considered that an important sign that I would also it would be true if I were in a dream. And so I worked with that as a symbol. And I went in and I channeled the crystal using this technique to get some information. And so I believe you can work with visions in the same way that I'm about to show you here. I think you can work with things that you encounter in your waking life that just grab you or get your attention in the same way that I'm about to demonstrate here. So hopefully that's helpful and answers your question.
So we're getting dream questions, but they're not directly related to your presentation. So how about we hold those to the end,
Yeah,
and
let's do
then
that.
you share what you'd like to share, and then we'll answer these in whatever time we have remaining. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, so my Katie is going to help me demonstrate this. And so I don't know if there's a way maybe to get her and myself up here.
Yes. Oh, Katie Roosevelt?
Yes,
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
Katie's dream.
Okay. So I'm gonna make her co-host, make co-host. Let's see. Spotlight. Oh,
There.
okay.
Hi, Katie.
So Katie's there. I don't know that we can still see you.
I don't know if it's not necessary to see me.
Okay. So we'll look at Katie. So we see Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hey.
Thank you for your help today. And then we see the dream.
I
Okay.
pinned myself too, so maybe you can see me now. Um, so what we need to do now is just make sure that folks folks are muted, and probably, I don't know, if you want to, please, go ahead and turn your video off. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take Katie through this process, and as I'm doing it, you'll be able to observe how this works. It's basically me interviewing various symbols in Katie's dream. And then you can be thinking about how you could then apply this to yourself. When I'm doing my own dreams and I'm just facilitating this process on myself, I essentially just have a journal in front of me. And I'm kind of thinking about these same questions that I'm about to ask Katie, but I'm journaling the answers in my journal. So hopefully that will give you some inspiration on how you might be able to do this for yourself. So the first thing I did was I asked Katie to send me a dream. This process can be a little long, so we'll see how far we get, keeping track of the time. And what I'm going to do is I've basically, you can't really see it very well, but I've bolded some of the symbols here that I want to go in and have Katie channel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk to those symbols using this process. And so Katie, are you ready to go into your dream with me?
Yes.
All right. To have an adventure session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I looked at the stream briefly, but as I typically do, I try not to do much outside of just reviewing the dream so I can get a sense of the lay of the land, because I don't want to kind of project my own ideas of what I think it will mean. And so, Katie, I'm just going to walk you through sort of something that help you kind of relax and get into the flow. So when you're ready, just go ahead and close your eyes. And just start to slow your breathing down, just like in sleep. Breathing in to the count of 4 and breathing out to the count of 4. And now as you do that, I'm going to count, and I just want you, as you breathe into the count of 4, holding to the top, at the top to the count of 4, letting go to the count of 4. And as you do, just releasing any tension or stress from the bottom half of your body. Breathing in again to the count of 4. Holding at the top to the count of 4. And letting go when you're ready to the count of 4. And as you do, just releasing any tension or stress in the middle part of your body. And then just when you're ready at your own pace, you can breathe in, holding at the top, breathing out. As you do, breathe, letting go of any tension or stress in the top part of your body. And now you see yourself in this beautiful meadow. It's sunny, it's lovely, green grass. And in the distance, you see a series of steps going down. These steps are going to take you down back into your dream. And you're going to walk to the edge of the steps. And at the top of the steps, I'm going to count down. And as I do, you're going to feel more and more relaxed. So taking a step down, 10, 9, feeling more relaxed. 8, feeling totally safe, relaxed, deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation. 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, more and more relaxed. 3, deeper and more relaxed, knowing anything is possible. 2, even deeper. 1, you are back in your dream. You see these dream elements. You're leaving your family to go into a hurricane. And so what I want you to do now, Katie, is you see this hurricane in your dream. And when you're ready, you're going to step into the consciousness of this hurricane. And you're going to speak as the hurricane. I am the hurricane, I am. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you're going to talk to me like I'm from outer space and I have no knowledge of these earth things. And so when you're ready, hurricane, what are you?
Powerful storm.
And why are you in Katie's dream?
It's how she sees life sometimes.
And why does she need to know how she sees life at this time in her life?
To help her handle it better.
Do you have a message for her, hurricane?
There is nothing to fear, and difficult times are temporary.
Okay, thank you, hurricane. All right, so beautiful. Katie, now you're stepping out of the consciousness of this hurricane and you're seeing these emergency supplies that you've packed in the dream. And so when you're ready, you're going to step into the consciousness of the emergency supplies in your dream. So emergency supplies, what are you?
Necessities for life.
Okay. And why are you in Katie's dream?
She has everything she needs.
And why is it important for her to know that?
She's always equipped to go into hurricanes.
Hmm. What message do you have for her?
To rely and trust that she has what she needs with her always.
Okay, thank you. Emergency supplies. Beautiful. Okay, so Katie, you're stepping out of the consciousness of the emergency supplies now, And you are going to step into the consciousness of this huge commercial ship in your dream. And so when you're ready, commercial ship, what are you?
Life's journey.
Okay. And why are you in Katie's dream?
Reminding her that life is a journey and she is on a journey.
And what does she need to know about life's journey?
To see it for what it is. It's not a destination, it's experiences over a long period of time that are to be appreciated.
Is there anything else you want Katie to know before we say goodbye?
The journey is to be enjoyed at times when things are calm, but even during hurricanes.
Beautiful. It's a message that we can all benefit from. Thank you, commercial ship. All right, so Katie, well done. I see this other bigger ship in your dream. When you're ready, if you're feeling okay, go ahead and slip into the consciousness of this bigger ship now. So bigger ship, what are you?
Greater purpose to life.
Mm. Okay, and why are you in Katie's dream?
Life can seem like a series of various smaller journeys that can all be placed within one larger ship, representative of a more meaningful and also spiritual journey.
And what do you want Katie to know?
To have more understanding of that and to be able to relax and experience the journeys, ups and downs, with more patience and trust and belief in herself.
Mm. Thank you, bigger ship. So just a few more to go, Katie. I see that you there's a woman here in this dream. So when you're ready, go ahead and step into her consciousness. Woman, what are you?
Outsider, outside forces, someone outside of her.
And why are you in this dream?
To show her that she doesn't have to do what other people tell her or say, that her guidance comes from within, and to follow her own intuition.
Is there anything else you want her to know?
Don't let others try and scare you into doing things that you don't want to do, and believe in yourself.
Beautiful. Okay, so we've got a phone here now. Thank you, woman. Katie, when you're ready, one more. Let's just do the phone. So you have this phone and you're sending your family your location. So go ahead and speak as the phone. So step into the consciousness of the phone. So phone, what are you?
Communication,
Okay.
connection to others.
And why are you in Katie's dream?
To show her that she can take on great things, even scary things. And although she has everything within her, she can reach out and communicate with others whenever she needs them.
And is there anything you would like her to know?
To not hesitate to ask for help or just even talk to other people when in doubt.
Okay, beautiful. So Katie, thank you, phone. Are there any other symbols in this dream that you would like to talk to? Go
I
ahead
think
and
that's
say.
good. You hit the
Okay.
big ones, yeah.
So if you would just really quick, go ahead and reorient yourself back and knowing what you know, given that you were in this hurricane and you've got those emergency supplies and you're out there in the ocean. And I know there were a few symbols we didn't get to talk to, but based on what you know now, is there anything that you need to do to get the full healing that it was asked or offered in this dream? Anything you need to do differently?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Change the color of the ship.
Okay. So go ahead.
I think it's black.
Okay. What color do you want to change it to?
Gold.
Oh, I like it. All right. And go ahead and see yourself. You're back in your dream. Go ahead and see yourself changing the color of the ship. And if there's anything else that you're inspired to do, feel free to do that. And just take a few seconds. And then when you're done, let me know. And then I'm just going to walk you out.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you noticed or anything else that happened?
The hurricane dissipated
Okay,
and the sun came out. Those are the two things.
I love it. Okay, so you're there. The hurricane has dissipated. You see that you're in this gold ship. The sun is out. So you can kind of see ahead of you that there's a series of steps that are going to lead out of your dream. And I know you kind of popped out, but just for the sake of demonstration, go ahead and step to the bottom of the stairs. And I'm going to walk you up to the count of 5. So 1, feeling more awake. 2, more awake, energized. 3, moving fingers and toes. 4, wide awake, eyes open. 5, totally awake, feeling great. Okay. Thank you so much for demonstrating that. Was there anything just kind of that stood out for you? Anything that surprised you?
I think the woman, because when I saw the woman as the symbol, I was like, what is that one going to be? Because it seemed surprised. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot better, deeper information that I had thought of when I first looked at this stream. And yeah, I want to look at the recording because it's hard to remember it all, but I'm happy with how that went. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that's one of the reasons actually for those who are observing, I type notes as I do this. And I also record. So if I'm facilitating a session and I'm not doing this on myself and I don't have the benefit of just being able to journal my own thought and I'm facilitating, I'm always typing notes like crazy for my clients. So Katie, I have your notes. And obviously we have this recorded. So beautiful. So now what I would say and recommend is that for you, Katie, going back in for the next week or two, that feels okay, or just whenever you think about it, going back in and seeing yourself in this golden ship, you know, navigating it in the way that you sort of intuitively knew to do after we had gone into it, to get that full kind of healing, and then pay attention to your dreams and see if anything changes around this one.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that is the demonstration. And I know I didn't read the actual dream, but hopefully folks were able to do that since it was up here on the screen. But that gives you hopefully a sense of this process and how I facilitate the process. When it's just me and I'm working with my dreams, I just go in, get myself into a relaxed state, and I just talk to the symbols. I go in and I talk to the symbols. So that's the process. At this point, I'm trying to think if there's anything else though that I want to share. One of the handouts that I made available were the questions that I asked. So if you're interested in trying this, maybe you're a practitioner, or maybe you just want to work with your dreams in a different way, that I've provided the PDF of this presentation, but also a handout with the actual questions that I use, so that you'll have some sense of what I ask myself or I ask my clients going through this process. One of the things, though, I really wanted to say, just to keep in mind, we didn't see this with Katie, but often because this is a very direct experience, it can be very emotional. Many times, because it's not necessarily a rational sort of like cerebral process, it's more of a heart, visceral kind of body process. You are going to tap into emotions. And so I've noticed often I have to warn my clients because a lot of times big emotions will come up. So just be aware of that, because it's very, very common for this to be very powerful, very emotional process. At this point, I guess I'm ready to answer questions.
Perfect. Perfect. So the question that came to me
Mm.
is, from what you saw of the dream, and I realize you haven't analyzed it intellectually, but from what you saw, would that match up with Katie's impressions?
Can you ask that a different way?
Yeah. So if you went through the process that we learned from Michael,
Mhm.
would you get the same results as Katie got through this process? Or
What
is
I,
it a different perspective so it feels different?
well, and so I know, Wendy, you know quite a bit about dreams yourself. And one of the things that I think this process demonstrates is the depth of what is available through dreams, and that there are many layers of understanding available to us. And so what I find happens is that oftentimes what we get when we do this work in this using this approach is that it creates just a more layered and a deeper understanding what the symbols offer. And many times they do sort of correspond with, I would say more often than not, they correspond with some of the ways that we're used to doing this from a more external approach. For example, Michael's approach, where we have symbols that typically reflect certain meanings. But I think it's also a great way to check ourselves, because if you're an analyst and you're used to looking at a dream from that external, like you're used to looking at dreams for people, and maybe you're not channeling those symbols, maybe you're just going from what you intellectually think it might mean. For me, this is a great way to kind of check yourself, And I often will have my clients go into a symbol just really quick to see if we're on the right track or if there's any other additional layer. And what I find is that the two approaches really complement each other, just as masculine and feminine energy complement each other. So I think what it does is it offers a more well-rounded approach to working with dream symbols. Hopefully
That's
that
really
answers your
helpful.
question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We do have some other questions here. Why do we repeat dreams?
So
Like
what
for
I
long
have
periods of time, even.
I've this again, this is just my take on things. So of course there are so many other takes as well. But one of the things that I have found is that it's sort of like, you just keep getting similar messages until you get it. And this can happen when we see reoccurring dreams, right? Where, sometimes it's a life circumstance that triggers a reoccurring dream that we're maybe not consciously aware of. But some variation of some life circumstance that triggers this thing that we need to work on that we're not addressing. And so then we'll see different variations of a reoccurring dream. But what I've also found is that even if you're looking at an individual's dreams from like a series. So one of the things that I do is I work as a dream analyst for Ann Tucker's Soul Convergence program. And in that process, we get to see dreams that come through over the course of, say, weeks or months. And one of the reasons I really love that approach as well is that you get to get kind of a whole bundle of dreams. It's not just one dream to work with. And what you see is that there typically are the same themes that get repeated until some kind of shift has happened on the part of the dreamer, and then the dreams will change and the messages will change. So reoccurring dreams or just themes that may not even seem like a reoccurring dream, but reoccurring themes that are happening through different kinds of screenplays that are presented from the higher self, so that we are just continuously being presented with something that we need to see so that we can shift or heal or have an insight and then move on. And so that's kind of my take on that.
Super helpful. And what if someone's been dreaming but now can't remember their dreams?
So there can be all kinds of different reasons. I have my own take on this. For me personally, one of the things that I have found is that I'll just go through dry spells. And sometimes it's because I'm taking a certain medication or there's some things that's changed in my diet. Other times it's just, I can't explain it. And sometimes I think maybe I'm just doing spiritual work on the other side and I'm not remembering it. But there are definitely things that can improve dream recall. And for me, one of the most powerful things to do is just set a strong intention before you go to bed. The other thing that I do is I will write down anything that I get, even if it may be just an impression of something or one tiny fragment. What I find that does is it signals to higher self that we are ready to work with our dreams. And so the more that you do that, and I know sometimes that's tricky because we're in the middle of sleep. I happen to get up to go to the bathroom a lot. So that tends to work to my advantage for remembering dreams. Kind of along those lines though, is that people have found a lot of success with just kind of setting an alarm a little bit, like maybe an hour before they typically get up. And I know this is one that Anne will talk about, and that will help to grab a dream a little bit easier. I know Radha has had experience working with crystals and has had success with that. So maybe if you're here, Radha, you could post some of the crystals that you work with. But yeah, there are definitely techniques, but I would say that it can be a myriad of factors for sure. I know, like I use a tincture to help me sleep sometimes, but that tincture has some kind of THC in it. And I know any kind of cannabis for me just really just doesn't help me remember dreams. So I don't know. It just kind of depends.
Very helpful. So I'm just going through here to make sure. Okay, a lot of people wanting to remember their dreams. Anybody else have any
I
questions?
was going to say too, for those who want to remember their dreams, if you don't have Michael Sheridan's book, this is a great resource. There's lots of techniques here for dream recall that are a little bit more, I would say, esoteric, like working with water is an interesting approach. I haven't used it personally, but I have heard people use it and have success with that. So definitely some other ideas in there, as well as just a really great book for Michael's approach to dream analysis. And by the way, I think I did see someone asking in the chat, where did I learn this technique? One of the things that I do is I'm an instructor, as I said, for a life coach program. And interestingly, my mentor, Martha Beck, has that uses a similar approach to this in her training materials. So we do this kind of dream work in the certification program. I teach this to sort of lay people or coaches in training. It's a different take on this, but what was really interesting is that when I was in Michael's program, I was reading a book by his mentor, whose name is George Radican. And George Radican, I don't believe is with us anymore. I think he passed, but he has some fantastic resources on dream analysis, and he has two books. They look the same, but they're not. The front looks the same, but they're different books. But this book has a technique very similar to what I just used. So what I do is I kind of take, and it's here, it's on page 68 of this particular title. But I take George Radican's approach, who happens to be Michael's mentor, and I combine that with Martha's approach. And then I use a few of my own approaches and created a hybrid. So that's basically the inspiration behind this technique.
And Rada did post crystals that help. Dream quartz, selenite, azurite, clear quartz are just a few. Someone's asking, how would they work with you one-on-one? Do you do one-on-one still?
Yeah, I do. I work with people who are interested in doing dream work. I do facilitation sessions like this. And then I also do longer healing programs to help balance those masculine and feminine energies. And actually, one of the things that is included in the PowerPoint was a link to a free resource. So I'm glad whoever asked that, because yes, so I do work with people individually, but I also have a free resource. And it is a resource if you're interested in kind of knowing, like, ooh, what are my masculine and feminine energies, and how's my balance in terms of those, and how do I even know that in my dreams? I have a resource that you can use to kind of sort of assess where you are in terms of your masculine energy, feminine energies, and how that's showing up in your dreams and why that even matters. So what I'll do is I will, let's see, sorry, let me get rid of I'll get the link to that, and I will put that in the PowerPoint. But the other thing too is, if you go to that link, there will be another link there that will allow you to sign up for a 30-minute session with me. And that's a free session where you can kind of just maybe work through your worksheet, ask me questions about dreams, and of course we can talk about whether one-on-one work would be a fit for you. So that is also available through this link. So let me just get it.
Sure, take your time.
Okay, here it is. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
here it is. Kira got the George Radican's name. Thank you, Kira. I
Oh,
was going to
thank
make her
you.
hold the book up again.
It's so nice to have the help on the, okay,
It
so
is.
I think I made a post, try this. I hope that link works. Is that a link? Does it even work? I think it does. Yes. That
Kira, could
takes you to the free resource. And then I actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll also post the sign up to the free session if you're interested in that. It's a little bit busy over the holidays, so I don't have, if you don't see anything that you like and you do want to sign up for one, just email me and I can see if I can open stuff up. But that's the link there that I just posted to a 30-minute consult if anyone's interested.
Perfect. And then someone's asking, so the person asks, Rodney is asking, he is in soul convergence and he's not remembering his dreams.
Yeah.
So can his progress be assessed other than what's happening in his zone?
Yes. Oh, I love that question, because the other thing that I do, and there are practitioners who are able to do this as well in soul convergence. It's basically invoking a waking dream. And so through a process of sort of visualization, what we do is we set an intention to get, say, feedback on where you are in your process with soul conversions. And then from there, I guide my clients into just allowing an image to come into their mind's eye. It's pretty fantastic what happens next, because higher self presents us with an image that we can walk through in this same way that we just did here with Katie on an actual dream. So it's essentially working with higher self to invoke a waking dream that will then metaphorically give you information that will allow you that feedback that you're looking for. And so, yeah. And so I guess what I would maybe suggest is either, you know, checking in to see if there's a practitioner who can help you with that. But the other thing is you can do this yourself. You just ask, you set the intention, you ask higher self to show you an image. You know that the image that you're getting, this is just using your imagination. And many of us are just not used to doing this, but our imagination is incredibly powerful. And so when you set that intention, you'll get an image. That image will be a metaphor for whatever it is that you're seeking, information, maybe a take on a problem. And you essentially will walk through that image until you get to some kind of resolution. And then when you're done, you just journal what you think that showed you. And it's an incredibly powerful process. And essentially, I do this all the time on myself for anything. It's essentially the Swiss Army knife of ways to work with your imagination to solve for anything. So you've got a problem, you can do this. And it's really just working with your imagination. Maybe that's another wisdom soup
Yeah,
presentation.
that sounds fascinating. I think
Yeah.
we're more powerful than we realize, and we're getting answers without realizing how,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we are all channels. We can
Mm-hmm.
all channel this information. And some of us may be more visual than others, but I have found over the course of the 13, now almost 14 years that I've been working with lay people, not even people that self-identify as spiritual people. And what I have found is that sometimes it's a lot more, some people have, they're more visual in terms of like getting descriptive images and all the detail. But even if you get a blob, there is still information that comes in. And so it's really powerful. And I think, I guess if I were to say, what is one thing that I hope everyone takes away from this presentation, it is that you have the wisdom within you. It is there and you can access it. And I think over time, we have just had such little emphasis on the power of our own imagination that we're just not used to working with it. And so hopefully people will go feeling more inspired to not only work with their dreams themselves, but also to work with their own imagination.
I love it. Thank you. So Joshua has an interesting question. If he can, and Joshua, if I don't get this quite right, just go ahead and post again. But he's asking, so he's having a bad dream
Yeah.
and he has the power to wake himself up.
Mm.
He's asking if he should go ahead and experience the bad dream or is waking himself up so it doesn't continue okay.
Well, I mean, I totally understand. I've had bad dreams and I've been very relieved to be able to wake myself up from them. It's funny because Katie and I were kind of going back and forth, well, a little bit about what dream she would offer to do for the demo. And she was mentioning some that were pretty dark, like with some murders and things like this. And I was like, ooh, I was kind of like almost thinking maybe we should do one of those nightmarish ones as a demo, because a lot of times those ones are they're not as, they can be intimidating for us to go back into. But what I have found is that these symbols that present themselves in our dreams as maybe a little bit scarier or more intimidating, or those dream narratives that you might call a nightmare where you're relieved that you woke yourself up, what happens is that they tend to have benevolent messages for us. And so like we saw this even in Katie's dream where we had the woman, and the woman was representing ways that Katie might give away her power to people outside of herself. And that woman was telling her in the message to listen to herself, to trust herself, right? And so I would say if you can, one thing that can be powerful to do is, to just be curious about those symbols or those types of dreams. And if you're able to, even just go back in using this process and see if you can get any wisdom from those symbols. But yeah, I can't blame a person for waking themselves up. One of the things that you can do too, though, is when you're in your conscious mind and you are going back into that dream, is you can turn around if you're being chased or if there's something happening, and you can, as we saw with Katie, you can go back and you can change the dream so that it feels like you're able to access the healing and wisdom. And you can do that just through what you intuitively feel is a way to work with it. And we saw with Katie that she knew intuitively what to do. And it wasn't a thinking logical process. It was her having experienced the dream in that way and then kind of knowing what to do. And even using the imagination, she saw that the weather changed, the hurricane dissipated. And so you'd be surprised at what might happen if you just go and spend a little bit more time on some of those more, intimidating, scary dreams.
Yeah, we
Hopefully
use the
that answers.
reworking dreams and soul convergence, and it's really powerful. It deepens and speeds healing. So that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Reworking dreams. And then you could use like rework a dream and you could just, which to me means visualizing it as you would want it and peaceful and safe and beautiful, right? And that's
Yeah.
powerful. So if you have a bad dream or if you have something that's not the way you want it to be, you're visualizing it in meditation. And that could be, how long could that take, Amy? Like,
Seconds, minutes,
right,
it's
right.
just easy. Have fun with it, it's fun, and one of the reasons I love this topic so much is that for me as a coach and someone who's experienced some pretty profound trauma in my own life, I've worked with a lot of different modalities to heal, and many of them have been so powerful, but there's only so much that I have found I could do on a conscious level. Dream work in and using this imaginative healing process and the feminine and masculine approaches to it was, would say, the most pivotal thing in helping me to kind of get past some hurdles in my own healing. And what I love is to bring this approach to everyone so that you can start to work with this on your own. If you're someone who finds that, oh, I keep running into these triggers, oh, I really want to heal, and do everything I can to get past this thing. This is a really fun, accessible way for people
Mhm.
to work with dreams on their own, and even just the imagination, the ways we've talked about very briefly, but it's not as complicated as we make things out sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the last question would be, would this method, and I think Rodney, you're referring to reworking dreams, be more preferable to, or maybe you're referring to the meditating on a symbol, is more preferable than going to an Akashic record reading or a local medium?
So, I mean, I think we're all going to resonate differently with different modalities and obviously different practitioners, right? Who are doing different modalities. And so I can't say, what's preferable for each and every individual here, but I can say that, I hope you leave knowing that you have what it takes to heal on your own. And if anything, now you have something that you can do in addition to these other modalities and approaches that resonate. So that's, I guess, what I would say.
That's super helpful. And then what would be some takeaways? Like if you had to say one more thing to people or emphasize one more thing, what would you say?
I would say, I guess it's maybe a repetition of what I've already said, but I really hope that people leave understanding just how powerful we are, that we have access to our own higher selves, and we don't necessarily need someone else outside of ourselves to help us connect. I'm every day saying, higher self, I'm here. What would you have me know? What would you have me do? What would you have me feel? And I believe, that our dreams are a direct line to our own higher selves. But we have access to our higher self and the wisdom of our higher self through our imagination every single day and every second. So, you know, for me, I like to go in the shower and get an image. And, you know, if I have something I'm trying to see from a different perspective, get an image, right? From higher self through my imagination and work it through, imagine it to a resolution. And then from there, intuitively, I'll understand what I'm supposed to know or see. And so I guess my number one message would be that you are a powerhouse and you have access to a vast amount of wisdom, either through your dreams or if you're not remembering your dreams, through your imagination.
That's super helpful. What a great job. This was really fascinating, right? You're getting lots of thanks in the chat.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Amy. Kira has yep, there we go. Thank you. She just re-put all the information there, how to contact you, the resources you provided. Thanks, Rada, for the crystal information. Thank you so much, Katie, for the being
Thank
our
you, Katie.
example.
Thank you, Rada and Kira,
Super, super,
Wendy.
super helpful. And we will, once the recording is edited, we will send it out with Amy's information. We'll also post it on the Wisdom Soup YouTube channel and the Wisdom Soup Facebook page. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and Anne will be back next month for Wisdom Soup.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mwah.